Good morning, Bulldogs. We are going to pick up today where we left off last Thursday. Last Thursday, we started our drama notes, which I've given you guys access to the entire presentation, PowerPoint, if you will, that has your completed notes. But now we're actually going to go through them so that you can actually hear a little bit of an explanation. If you have any questions, type out an email, give me a call, we can work through it. Okay. So Thursday, we started with drama, basically what is drama, and we talked a little bit about, we read fiction a couple weeks ago, and now we started our drama. Same story, but we're gonna see how the two stories are different. So that's what we're gonna be doing between last week and this week. Hopefully last week you were able to complete reading Act 1 of A Christmas Carol. If you didn't, that needs to be like your primary focus when you're finished watching this video, because one of our activities is going to be to start labeling Act 1 with some of the different things that we're going to talk about today. So if you will, if you've printed out the notes, great. If you haven't, if you're writing them down, open to it. Otherwise, make sure you're following along. We are going to be starting with the dramatic forms of these. So, there we go. A play is the type of drama written for the stage, and I believe I might be going back over one section of these notes, but I had a lot of you that were having trouble viewing the video. The playwright, which is the author, it's the author of a play. This person is going to include details about the props, the sets, and how the actors need to move on stage. If you want the actor to jump up and down on a trampoline while he's shouting woohoo, then the playwright is going to say, jumping up and down on the trampoline, then the dialogue. Okay? Unlike the piece of fiction, written script is not the final work. That script is a guide for a director and actors to use to make the story be unique. That is why you can take one play, you can take one written script, and with different directors or different actors, you can see different stories. It's all about the interpretation, okay? Dramas do not have to be performed on stage by any means. When you think of a drama and a play, you usually think of something on stage, maybe Broadway musical, but they do not have to be on stage. In fact, the TV screenplays and scripts, maybe a movie screenplay, that's drama. It is something shown for an audience. Best way to think of a drama for an audience, whether that be in person or letting you sit at home on your couch with popcorn, it's a drama. Okay. Screenplays and TV scripts are also going to have the sets, props, the stage directions, dialogue. It's going to have everything that actor needs to know and do. Okay. Without that script, the actor is really just sitting there staring at a camera or staring at an audience. So we've got to have it on a script or we're not going to know what to do. Okay. We did talk about what is drama, but it is the story that is performed, usually by actors. And even though it's meant to be performed, you can still read it. And you as the audience can imagine what is happening. But I will be the first to say sometimes reading a drama can be difficult, especially when it's 98% dialogue. So it's kind of hard to remember what character said this and what character said, because you can't hear it in your head as easily sometimes. So I would say it can be difficult to hear or read a drama. But yes, dramas can be simply written. And the dramas use the plot diagram to tell the story. Kind of like the plot diagram we've been using for our fiction story. That is similar to what is used to create a drama. Okay, all right, so the new stuff that was not on the last video, if you guys had trouble viewing the last video, you are now officially caught up. So, what is an element of drama? A drama in its simplest form is a story like any other piece of fiction. It's a genre within fiction. And drama is different because it has what we call theatrical elements, because when you think of a drama, you think of a theater. Okay, so there are theatrical elements to it. The theatrical elements are going to allow that story to be told and performed by live actors, okay? Or the story can come to life with the interpretation of a director or actors. Okay? All right, so drama, just like with fiction, you've got a lot of elements going on. So drama, you're going to have a playwright or an author. You're going to have the plot, but doesn't fiction have a plot too? So we can see that drama and fiction are very similar. Okay? Drama is going to have characters, but they're not just characters. They're going to be actors and actresses. Okay? And again, that's similar to fiction. Fiction also has characters. Drama is also going to include dialogue. Now, here's where it gets a little different. Fiction can have dialogue. Doesn't have to, but it can. Plays and dramas are mostly dialogue. Okay, that's one unique factor. It's mostly dialogue. Okay, a drama is going to have a script, whereas a fiction piece might have a little bit of background, maybe a descriptive paragraph here and there. Drama, it's a script. Character A says this, character B says that. Dramas are also going to include information about the scenery. That's not going to be in a lengthy descriptive paragraph in the beautiful green forest at midnight. No, it's going to be green forest, midnight. Very precise, and it's going to have to be there. The scenery needs to be there for the drama. Okay, so we are going to get into each of these so that we have a better understanding of what each are, because then we're going to be able to compare them between that and fiction. And that's the whole point of these units, is to see that there are some similarities, but there are some pretty key differences as well. Okay, so first off, playwright. Who did I say the playwright is? Okay, playwright is the author. Playwright is to author, always. But you need to know there is the difference. Playwright is for plays only, dramas. Okay, now we get into plot. There's a lot going on with plot, and it should be pretty much mostly review. You guys were introduced to plot and plot analysis in probably 3rd grade. But we're going to go over these because you need to make sure that you know what they are. Okay, so plot introduces the central conflict or struggle. Same thing with fiction. Okay, that's what the plot is there for. It's there to get us to our climax, our problem. Okay, the plot develops the conflict. So how do we get to our conflict? Through our rising action. How do we solve our conflict? After the climax. Okay, these notes should look very familiar. They were almost the exact same in your fiction notes. Okay, so first you have your exposition. This is where you're going to find out about your scenery, and it's going to set the show with your time and place. So that's where you're really going to have your setting. But when you think of setting, think beyond time and place. Think of the scenery. What exactly do I want my audience to see in their minds? That's going to be your scenery, okay? You are also going to be introduced to some of your main characters as well during your exposition. Your rising actions. These are the details, kind of the main details. This is where we're struggling in class. The main details that build up to your climax, okay? So what's the conflict leading up to my main issue, okay? When you are thinking of your rising action, think of the big events. I don't need every small event that happens. I need the major things, okay? You've got the climax. That is your turning point. That is where the conflict is at its highest. That is where your characters are really in a dilemma. They are really trying to figure things out. There are different types of drama, so we can't really say it's a problem, but that's the turning point of the story. Okay, and we're going to get into the different types of drama here in just a few minutes. Okay, then you have your falling action. These are the things that happen after our turning point, after our climax, that show how we're going to end the play, how we're going to solve our problem. And our resolution is just the end of the story. There's always an end. Okay, so think of beyond happily ever after. How does it end? Okay, that is what we're going to need to know. We're going to need to wrap up what the characters are doing, where they're doing it. And in some types of drama, we're going to need to analyze feelings of the characters as well. Okay? All right, a little bit more on plot. Conflict. What is conflict? It doesn't have to be a fight between two characters. It could just be a struggle between two opposing forces. And this sounds very familiar. It's very similar to fiction, but we need to make sure we understand that it's in drama as well. So with your drama, you've got external and internal, okay? Sound familiar? It should. All right, external is is when your main character is dealing with an outside force or another person. Internal takes place within the mind or the self of the character. It can be in the heart or the mind of the character. Okay, so we are not going to be digging into them as much as we did in fiction, but we need to understand the different conflicts. So your external conflict, you have man versus man, man versus nature, man versus fate, and man versus society. Those are your four main external. If you need a refresher on what was man versus nature, then you should probably look back at your fiction notes. If you are at home and do not have a printed copy of the notes, the presentation is uploaded into your notes section as well, so you can always refer back to that. Okay, your internal conflict is going to be man versus self. Okay, and again, if you need a refresher on that, I would look back at your fiction notes. Okay. All right, moving on with our elements, we have our characters. And in drama, we can really develop those characters based on the dialogue, how something is said. So the characters are going to be your individuals who take part in the action of the drama. They're going to actually be individuals, okay? And you guys remember when I had you do the characterization for your novels. And that's when you told me about the character, what they did, how they changed, and so on. Playwrights need to use characterization to develop the characters, okay? If we don't have that detailed characterization, then we're not going to understand the characters. So that's where the playwright's craft really comes in, and they can help us to understand the characters a little better, okay? The characters in the drama are collectively referred to as the cast, okay? So who is the main character? Who is the secondary character? Who are the characters? The cast, okay? That's just a drama thing, okay? Actors and actresses, I'm sure you guys all know, they are just the people who act it out, who perform the drama, okay? But these are just some keywords that you need to know, okay? Actor is man, actresses are the women. If you have men and women, it takes the masculine form, so they are the actors. All right, a little bit more about our characters. This is where we're going to get back into kind of a refresher from the fiction. You have your protagonist, your most important character in the drama. And this protagonist is going to be motivated by a goal, a need, or a desire, okay? No matter what kind of drama you're reading or seeing, that main guy has a goal, a need, or a desire, okay? So anytime you think of a drama, look at it, okay, what does the main guy want to do? Or what is he having to do, okay? It could be wants to do well in the sports game. It could be needing to pass a test. It could be a desire to become friends with somebody, okay? There's always a reason. The protagonist is going to have strengths, and they're usually going to be courage, cleverness, or intelligence, wisdom, or kindness. Most protagonists are going to share some of those characteristics, and that is not an all-inclusive list. It can be anything, but the strengths are going to be very evident very early on in the play. Okay, the protagonist is going to use these strengths to master the goals, okay, to overcome the obstacles that get in the way. So if my protagonist needs to do well on a test, my protagonist is going to use one of the strengths to do just that, okay? All right, a little bit more on this. We have our antagonist. This is the one that has conflict with the protagonist. Now, I had one student mention when we were talking about A Christmas Carol, what kind of conflict do we have there? Well, couldn't it be man versus man? Or, I'm sorry, couldn't it be man versus self? Because Scrooge was really at odds with himself. Yes, it certainly could. That is one type of conflict that we had. Okay, so that means Scrooge is the protagonist as well as the antagonist, because he's at odds with himself. Okay, that was very good note. So the antagonist engages with conflict with the protagonist, and he is also motivated by a goal or need or a desire to do something to the protagonist, either frustrate, challenge, hurt, destroy, humiliate, something. They're at odds. Okay? The antagonist is going to use the strengths similar to the protagonist. The antagonist is going to be clever. He's going to be very determined. And he's going to usually know about the protagonist's weaknesses. How can I get to that protagonist? How can I hurt that protagonist? And then the antagonist is going to use that information to engage in conflict. Okay? And he's going to try to use these strengths, like I mentioned, to actually stop the protagonist from achieving the overall goal or to achieve goals of his own. Okay? Characters, just like in fiction, can also be characterized as major or minor. So in A Christmas Carol, who's our major characters? Scrooge. Who's our minor characters? Almost everybody else. Okay? So your major characters, they have the big role in the work, and our minor characters, they have a much smaller role. So as I mentioned in class, the show must go on. Our major characters, the show cannot go on without them. Minor characters, this show can and will go on even if we don't have them. It'll just kind of be a little different, but it can go on. Okay? All right, a little bit more about our characters. In a drama, we have some additional kinds of characters that we need to look at. We have flat characters. That means we're only going to see one side of the character, one trait or one quality. Okay, so if I write, let's say I've got this. If I have my little card on this side and I have a design on this side, flat characters, I'm only seeing one side of it. This is flat, right? I can only see one side. I have no idea what's going on with the rest of this card. So think about flat, I can only see one at a time. We have our round characters. I'm looking at my desk, I don't really have anything round at my desk. Think of a basketball, you can usually see all sides with just a quick look around. That's going to allow you to see multiple character traits and qualities within the same story, okay? And you're going to be able to explore that character a little better. Our dynamic characters are the ones that are going to change a lot throughout the story. So we're in A Christmas Carol. Who's our dynamic character? That would be Ebenezer Scrooge. He changes a lot, like very significant changes from the very beginning of the story to the end of the story. He's going from one extreme to another. And that is a dynamic character. In a play or any kind of drama, you're not going to have a lot of dynamic characters. You might have a couple, one or two, but you're not going to have many more than that because it takes a lot of time to develop those characters. And remember, we talked about it last week, a play, you've got a few hours to get your story out there. You don't have time to develop that many characters. Okay? So how do you know who the main character is? How can you identify who our main guy is? Okay? So you need to know that the main character in a drama is the character that the audience can relate to. That's who it is. Okay? So think about Ebenezer Scrooge. Can you relate to him being selfish? Is he a main character? Yep. Can you relate to him being heartbroken from a business partner dying and from losing his fiance? Yes, you can relate to him. He's your main character. Okay? So whenever the main character goes through the play, the audience is easily relating to this character. So were you able to put yourself in Scrooge's shoes when he was taken back to Christmas past and see him at the boarding school? Could you see how lonely he felt? Could you actually feel it a little bit? Christmas present at the Cratchits, could you see the happiness that he saw and that he started to feel? Okay. So that is how you know who the main character is, because you can actually relate and feel what that character does. Okay. All right. We also need to talk about dialogue. I mentioned that dramas have a lot of dialogue. It is like 98% dialogue. So what is it? Dialogue is the conversations between the characters. And like I said, it is 98% dialogue in these dramas. Who says what? Okay. The plot is revealed through your physical action and the dialogue. So how do I develop my plot? With the characters talking to each other, how they're talking to each other, what they're doing while they're talking to each other, okay? That's all about talking, so it's all about the dialogue, okay? Dialogue is gonna help us to learn about the personalities of the character. So it's not always about what is said, but how it is said, okay? So think back to if your mom asks you to go clean your room and you say, yes, ma'am. Could you say yes, ma'am, or yes, ma'am? It's how you say it, okay? So as we read through it, look at how the characters are saying things, because that is just as important as what they say, okay? All right, into our dialogue a little bit more. We have dramatic speech. This is important because it's gonna show us the story's action. It's gonna be a little bit more than, I got home yesterday. No, I'm gonna have a little bit more drama to what I'm saying. I'm gonna incorporate the details, and I'm going to try to heighten the emotions to make it more impactful, okay? So when we are talking about dramatic speech, there are two types of dramatic speech. We have dialogue, being the conversation between or among the characters, and we also have monologue. Okay, monologue is, if you look at the first part of monologue, it's mono. That means only or one. Okay, that's like your Greek root. And it is a long speech by one of the characters. Okay, and in a drama, if one character is giving a monologue, it's usually going to be sharing that character's thoughts, feelings, or observations, or what that character knows, and sharing it one-on-one with the audience. Okay? And we're going to need to understand monologue a little bit more as we go on. So dialogue has your DI at the beginning. That's die, that's two or more, okay? Dialogue is two or more, so that's between your characters, and monologue is one, okay? All right, let's get into our script. So the script is the actual made-up dialogue with stage directions. So not only do I know that Ebenezer Scrooge said, bah humbug, I know that he slammed the door while he said it, okay? That's the stage direction. Stage directions are anything that the character needs to do while on stage, okay? So the script is going to include my characters' names. We're going to include the setting. We're going to include stage directions, and we're going to include dialogue, okay? So I'm going to try to show you the very first page of the play, and we're going to see, bear with me, I could get it pulled up. Here's the play. Here's the character's name. Here's the setting up here, where it actually says Ghostly Music in the Auditorium, Single Spotlight, Crackle Voice. So where am I? I know a little bit more about it. The stage directions are going to be right here, where it says Crackle Voice. That's telling the actor how to speak with a crackled voice, okay? And the dialogue is going to be what the character is actually saying, okay? That's in a script. So it takes some time to develop that script. That's a lot, okay? So that we can understand each of those parts, stage directions tell us how the characters need to speak their lines. So with a crackled voice, okay? They could also include something the character needs to do while he is speaking, okay? Rushing down the hall, okay? That the character needs to rush down the hall while he is speaking, okay? They are going to include notes about music, lights, set design. So as the character is speaking, should the lights dim down? That's a stage direction. He has no control over the lights, but that is what the director and everybody else in the cast needs to make sure happens. Okay, it's very much a group effort for these dramas. The stage directions are going to also direct how they need to move, slowly, quickly, happily, merrily. Okay, but they're very to the point. And the stage directions are usually what is going to be found in those brackets. You've got these fancy, really pretty brackets right here that I really like. Then you've got the box brackets. They're the same. They are not parentheses. They are different, okay? These are brackets. Parentheses are like those, okay? So there is a difference, okay? All righty. So let's get into our script. Script has your stage directions, and they are usually going to refer to this type of grid. It's different types of parts of the stage, okay? So if we look up, all three of these are considered upstage. And you have on the right, you have the center and the left. But why is the right on the left-hand side? Because that is upstage right to the actor. The actor is going to be looking towards you, the audience. So the actors are actually looking down here where my mouse is moving around. So this would be on their right-hand side. Then you have center stage, right, middle, and left. Then you have downstage, right, center, and left. Okay? Center stage is, you might have heard that. That's like in the middle of all the action. It's right there in the middle. It's not too far back, not too close, not too left, not too right. It's right there in the middle. Okay? So as long as we understand that grid, no, I'm not going to have you guys have to fill in that grid, or because it is a confusing thing. Is that upstage, downstage? Is that left or right? So no, but you do need to have it so that you can see it if you have a question about it, okay? All right, moving on. In a drama, you have acts, okay? We have already read Act 1. Acts are the different parts of the play, okay? Think of it, acts are like the chapters of the drama, okay? And acts then have scenes. They have individual scenes. Some acts might only have 1 or 2 scenes. Some acts might have 5. There's no set number of how many you have to have. It really depends on the playwright. Okay? Scenes are your different chapters within that act, like the different parts of it. Okay? It is the part that is uninterrupted. It just starts from beginning to end for that scene. So in that location. Okay? All right, so the scenery of the drama is going to be called the set. So a set director is going to be the one that gets all the scenery together. Okay, makes the scenery look the way it does, and it's going to be up for interpretation a lot. Okay, set is the term that we use for constructing on stage that will help us to share with the audience where and when the play is taking place. How do I know that A Christmas Carol is taking place in December? On that stage, I'm going to see some poinsettias. I'm going to see some snow. I'm going to see a Christmas tree maybe, presents being wrapped. I'm going to see these types of things to infer it's Christmas time. Okay? All right, your set is going to include a different setting for each scene. It's going to include your stage directions. It's going to include lighting. What do I need to do with this light? It's midnight and it's still super bright in here. What do I do? Well, that's part of the set. The set is going to adjust the lights. And you're also going to have props. Props are anything that is movable, anything that can be moved. So in a classroom, is the desk a prop? No, because it is not easily movable. The desk would be considered part of the scene, okay? A stapler, I can pick this up, I can toss it over here, I can toss it over here. This is a prop for the classroom, okay? Do not think of furniture. Do not think of plants. You're thinking of something that you can easily pick up and move if you need to. That is a prop. Okay? And the playwright is going to include notes about the set in the script. That is going to be very important. That's how the playwright kind of shares his notes or what he is hoping. Okay? The director, similar to a movie, if you guys know of any famous directors, they're going to interpret the notes from the playwright. They're going to interpret what the playwright wants, and then they're going to put it on stage. They're going to put it on a screen to make it come to life for us, the audience. Okay? All right. Oh. So I skipped over one, but I did say it. The props are your movable objects, okay? Key to know. So where does drama originate from? Okay, where does it all come from? And the simplest answer is not here. Well, there's that. So, whoops, I may have just hit my button. Okay, I think I've got it, hopefully. If you'll bear with me, I will see if I can get the computer to cooperate again. We all know me and computers do not get along. Okay, so where do the dramas come from? Okay, the Western, most modern Western theater that we're in the West, so we are considered Western, Western Hemisphere. Most of our theater, most of our drama is going to come from the theatrical productions from ancient Greece or the ancient Greeks. Okay, they had a lot of drama going on, and we have adapted a lot of those stories to fit our needs and our entertainment. There are three main categories of drama. This is where we talked about it a few minutes ago, that where there are the different types of drama that we're going to be studying. We're not going to get into each of them today, but there are the three different types that I want to make sure we go over. We have a Greek tragedy, but sometimes today it may just be referred to as a tragedy. Okay, but there are the famous Greek tragedies that you might hear of. Okay, there's a comedy, and there's also what we consider straight drama. Okay, so later this week we are going to be finishing up these notes, and really it's going to be super short and sweet because we're almost done. We just need to go through each of these types of drama, and we're going to give some examples of each so that we can piece together, hey, what is drama? Give me an example of a tragedy. Okay, so if you have any questions about any of these notes so far, all you need to do, send me a quick email or give me a call and we will get you through it, okay? So I want you guys to have a good day. If you have any questions, reach out, okay? Bye.